if you have rolled out Windows Hello for Business, and if users forget their pins, you know, then they would need to reset the pin, right? So this particular solution is basically to give the facility for end users to be able to have a streamlined, user-friendly option, which will let them reset their pin in scenarios where they have forgotten their old pin, etc. Right. So there are a couple of modes: destructive, non-destructive pin reset. I mean, when we say non-destructive pin reset, we are basically talking about all the users, data, certificate, everything would be preserved. And in destructive pin reset, existing everything will be kind of wiped out. As in their pin underlying credential, the certificate which has been used in the Windows Hello for Business container, everything will be deleted, right, in the destructive pin set. So there are different scenarios, different use cases. We can, depending upon if the computers are hybrid joined or maybe intra joined, depending upon certain things, you can either deploy destructive or non-destructive or both. So you can deploy both so that both the options are made available for the end users. At times, it'll reduce the frustration from the end user community, right? Now, first and foremost, one of the prerequisite would be to kind of make sure these two applications are registered in Microsoft Entra ID. So all we have to do is right click, copy link, go to our tenant, and then log in as a tenant administrator on the portal, and then you try to navigate to the link which is given in that article. Log in again, re-authenticate as the administrator, click on accept, which will kind of register the application, and that's it. App services up and running. You also have a recent pin reset client production website. Again, go back, do the same thing for that. And just access the URL. It'll ask to key in the administrator credentials, and then you say accept, etc. That'll kind of, the permission in terms of the consent, everything will also be given to the application. Once this is done, you can go back to the Entra, go to application, enterprise application, search for pin. You can see these two applications are registered as a result of whatever we have done now, right? So that is that. And after these two applications are registered, then you can, this is the steps which will say that, okay, this is how you confirm. Then you can go and push the pin recovery onto the client. So go to Intune, go to the setting catalog, and then add this enable pin recovery. So that'll be, go to our devices, and Windows configuration policy. I just created one. I'll just kind of open that up and show it to you. Create a new policy. Basically, come here, create, and then say new policy, platform, tenant later, setting catalog, create, give it a name, and then add setting. Uh, for business, and then enable user pin. So that's it. So if you can scroll down, enable user pin recovery. This is what you have to select, and this will come up here. Drop it down and set this to true. That's all. And you click on next. Scope tag, if you have any scope tag, otherwise you can leave it default, typically what organization would have, unless you have any separate tags which are associated. And then you go to assignments, assign the the device group or the user group to which you're going to target. In my lab, I've kind of targeted the device group. Click on next, and that's it, you're done. um, Now, once that is done, or once you target that policy to the device group or maybe user group on the computer, let me log in. On the client computer, just make sure it gets the policy is received by the computer. Multiple ways, I mean, either from the Intune portal you can synchronize, or maybe from the client side you can synchronize and receive the policies immediately. Or wait for some time, it'll anyways trickle down to the computer. If you do a dsregcmd/status, only you can see can reset pin. uh, this on this PC I've pushed the policy, but again, if you look at this before pin reset, this was output. Um, can reset would be set to now. And if you had pushed a only destructive, then destructive will come. I mean, here I've pushed both destructive and non-destructive. That's why you are able to see both of them. Where is it? Can reset would be destructive and non-destructive. PRT is yes, another. You can see these TGTs also there, which means like it is able to have a line of sight to the domain controller. So on hybrid joint computers, which this computer is, uh, right? So on hybrid joint computers, it is necessary that this computer needs to have a line of sight to the domain controller in order to be able to get the reset done. That is one of the prerequisite. I mean, in a hybrid join, if it had been a intra join, then that's not necessary. And so there are alternate different method as well, but it's a little difficult. You don't have to. I mean, this is much more easier, the one which we showcase now. Push that setting catalog, and once that is done, as I said, dsregcmd/status, it'll show you if it is a destructive, then what will happen, non-destructive, what will happen. All of that is basically detailed here. In our lab, we have done destructive and non-destructive. I think that's what I would recommend as well, so that both the options are available for all users. If it is a federated, then there are additional configuration to be done, like if you have an ADFS or maybe Jump Cloud or some other, or some other server. Um, User experience. So there are two. So user, you'll have to log into that in a scenario where the user has forgotten the pin, then obviously they have to use an alternate credential. They'll have to log in, right? That is one option. Another option would be they can, from the lock screen itself, they can go and I forgot my pin, and they can do the reset. Both the options are available. So we'll try the maybe from the lock screen. Um, Come on. Let's say log off. I forgot my pin. It is asking for password. Reset pin. Maximize and I'm going to click on the reset pin. Pick an account. Just throw in MFA prompt. Make that happy. After providing the prompt, again it'll say that okay, now you can enter the new pin. Provide the new pin. and it'll say all set, we're ready to go. And now you can provide the new pin and then login. That's it. Um, so yeah, both the options it'll work. Yeah, so the key trust on intra-join devices would not support destructive pin from the lock screen. Is due to the sync delay. So there are certain gotchas here. So whatever we have displayed here in the lab or hybrid join, that'll all work. Right. So if you have certain specific scenarios, I'd recommend to kind of go through this article once just to kind of make sure that's also covered. Thank you.